Hello, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a Let's Chat video about Ouija boards. And I've had an opinion on these for all of my life, and I've never really changed it. And I've had proof for me as to why this opinion is right for me. And I'd like to put that opinion out there, and maybe it could help a few people that are deciding, should they go for this, should they work with one, should they not. The title of the video is Why Ouija Boards Are Dangerous, and I do believe they're dangerous, and I always have done. It's something that always struck me as a bit odd that someone, in my opinion, what I put in an article in my newspaper column way back in the 90s was that it was like sticking a pin in a telephone directory, which we don't have now, but back then, sticking a pin, taking that number and then phoning it. You don't know whether you're going to get a kindly person at the end of that phone call. You don't know whether you're going to get a mass murderer, and you don't know whether you're going to get someone that would abuse you or someone that would do your head in. And I still believe that, although the analogy of the telephone directory doesn't ring true anymore. And that shows you how long I've had this belief for. Ouija boards, I can't believe that in the last few years they've actually been marketed as toys for age 8 up. It's crazy, and I do believe that there was a big outcry and they were taken up. But can you imagine giving, say, a 12-year-old, a teenager, someone coming into adolescence, a board that allows them to connect with any spirit out there? It's like giving them a gun and telling them to shoot whatever they like and hope they don't shoot themselves. I can't contemplate it. I really can't. But what I'd like to say is this is my opinion and my opinion only, and that's all I can give in this channel. And I have a few friends and colleagues that actually use Ouija boards, and that's fine, that's their choice. But my first thought, and I'm going to let you know why I have a wee bit of information that confirmed my viewpoint, but a wee bit further on. So if you bear with me, I believe if you've got mediumship capabilities, then you should develop them and work with them and get advice from them rather than trying out a Ouija board. If you feel that there's a sense of maybe somebody trying to give you a message or someone trying to get through to you, either go to a medium and see what they can do for you, or if you feel that there's something you want to develop yourself, then go and maybe sit in a spiritist church circle or find a mentor that would tell you how to do protection ritual that would allow you to feel protected and allow you to open up and shut down, and make sure that when you're finished that session, you're not carrying anything away with you. These things are all important. If you feel that you're developing as a medium, that's the way to go, not to grab a Ouija board and see what you get with it, because the chances are you're going to get things that you don't understand, and even worse could happen. I have known people that actually, through using a Ouija board, actually attached a demonic spirit to them. And that was horrific. And actually, it happened in a centre I had opened many years ago. And it horrified me that some of the psychics actually brought a Ouija board in. And believe me, they were out the door as quick as I saw it or found out that they'd done it. I would not tolerate it in my premises. I just wouldn't, although it was a place where we mediums coming in, running circles, doing all sorts of mediumship, all sorts of divination. To me, the bottom line is no to spirit boards or Ouija boards. So if you're a medium, develop, learn how to protect yourself, learn how to open up properly, learn how to close down properly, learn how to cleanse your auric space, learn how to not attach anything. These things are imperative if you want to involve yourself in receiving messages from spirit. If you're a slightly psychic person, but you're just interested in it, and wouldn't it be a wee bit of fun to have a night with the girls and get out a Ouija board? a couple of drinks thrown in. What a mixture, opening up to things you don't want and alcohol. And you might have someone who actually hasn't very good mental health there. There's another thing that can be dire for negative spirits to come in. You put a kind of party laugh situation, isn't this fun, not taking it seriously in any way. You add alcohol and you maybe add in someone with anxiety or someone that is developing but doesn't know it. You're heading for bother, you really are. And then that night you might have had a time, you might have had a wee bit of spookiness, a wee bit of laugh, close it down. You don't know what's left in your house, honey, you really don't. And I've been to too many houses trying to get rid of entities that have come in through, a wee bit of fun with a Ouija board. Or my 17-year-old son did a Ouija board or a spirit board, and the house has never been the same since, and he's awful low and awful down. I've spent my time going in and having to cleanse houses and get rid of things. So if you're wanting a wee bit of fun with your Ouija board, it's not a fun thing. It has the potential to open you up to any spirit out there. And yes, there's a chance that you might get your gran through. Yes, there's a chance that you might get a friend through. But yes, there's a chance that you might actually get a chat spirit, a spirit that's malevolent, or even something quite demonic. So if you're in the category of developing mediumship, I don't see any reason why you would touch these things. If you are someone that fancies a wee bit of fun with one, please just don't. That's my advice to you. Just don't. Because believe me, it's not worth it. It's not worth the one little thrill of someone getting a name through to what destruction can be left behind. And yes, here's my story. I had a column in a newspaper syndicate for many years, but early on in my career with it, I actually answered a question about Ouija boards. Excuse me. I had a few people get back to me and said, I don't think you're right there. We use Ouija boards and there's no problem whatsoever. And from people that maybe knew what they were doing and come over as it was a tool that they used, but they knew how to open up, close down, be secure. I could understand that. But I still think you didn't need it. Why not open up more just to direct communication or connecting more with your guide and then letting your guide bring the spirits through to you? That's safer. Plus, that way it kind of, I don't know, it just feels as though it's right. Because most people see Ouija boards as having an element of trickery anyway, that, one person can be moving the planchette and spell out what you want. But here's the story. So one girl got back to me and she said, I use the Ouija board. I'm not necessarily a medium or whatever, but I do like to have communication with my family and spirit. Why don't you come and I'll give you a wee reading? And then you can tell me what you think. And I thought, well, fair enough. I don't need connection, but it's nice to get a wee message. But I was intrigued how she used this thing and still seemed quite sane in some way. I thought, okay. So I went to her house and it was very hospitable, and we sat down and she got out the Ouija board and sort of tuned in. First thing, she didn't really say any prayers or protection, and that was me, not sure about this. But because I've dealt with spirits and some quite negative spirits, I felt safe enough. So anyway, first thing that happened was that the planchette started to spell out R-O-B-E-R-T, Robert. And she said, "Who's Robert?" And I said, "Well, Robert's my dad's name." And she said, "Oh, we've got your dad." Now, at that moment she said it, I heard from the other side a laugh. And the laugh was most definitely not my dad's laugh. And as I looked up more through my third eye, the first thing I saw was a black outline just a little bit ahead of us. and it felt so bad. When I pulled back a wee bit and moved from my eyes to my third eye, I saw the energy or the entity's eyes, and they opened and they were red. And I'm even getting thinking of it just now, but they were red. There was a black outline. It was kind of amoebic, but it was dark. And when the eyes opened, or when my third eye opened enough to see its eyes, I don't know which way around it is, they were bright red. And it laughed, and it was the laugh that I'd heard. And while that was happening, I was kind of, she said, "We've got your dad." And I said, "No, we've not got my dad." And she said, "Yes, we have. He's spelled out his name." And I was like, "Are you sure it couldn't be trickery, or it couldn't be, your own will doing that?" And she said, No, I'm here to show you. How would I have got that name? How would that have come through? I don't know your dad's name was Robert." And I said, "No, you don't. That's true." And my heart was still pumping a bit, and I looked up, and this thing that was manipulating the board looked at me like, "You're right." And I looked back at it and I thought, "Well, why are you showing yourself?" And you know what come back from it? Because I don't care. It literally was saying, "I'm showing you you're right, but you know what? I don't care, because I get to do this anyway." That's not what it said. It was, "I don't care." So I said thank you to the woman. I said, "Are you sure that you wouldn't accept that maybe it was something negative and it would be better to cleanse your house and stop using the board?" And she said, "No. Why are you keeping saying this? I got your dad." And I was like, "Well, thank you very much." And I went home, because I knew that that woman was not going to change her point of view until she had a bad experience with it. And I don't know if that's happened. I don't know if she still uses the board. I don't even remember her name, to be honest. It must have been 1998 or something. It's way far back. But I'll never forget I call it a demon. I'll never forget its eyes. That's one thing. To see these red eyes through a black shape was quite scary, although I'd seen ones before. To hear it laugh, it was mocking. It was mocking the woman. It was mocking humanity, I suppose. And even it was having such fun at showing itself, knowing that even if I said, "Look, there's a demon in here, let's get out," or "Let's cleanse the house," the woman wouldn't have believed me. She would just have said, No, it's your dad." And believe me, 100,000%, that being was not my lovely dad in any way. And I think that's kind of the first time I've told that story in media. Not sure, it might be in one of my books, but it's definitely going in my memoirs, because I think it's very important. So that's my experience. I've never used a Ouija board apart from on that one occasion with the women where I took part in it. I'll never do it again. When mediums, psychics used it in my forum, I as good as put them out the door. I'm so against them. But that's just my opinion. But that's my story. Now, if you have feelings one way or the other, feel free to converse in the comments. Let us know what you think about Ouija boards. Your good experiences and your bad experiences. I want to know about them. I want to know how you've experienced them. And as I say, I know that there's a few people that I know personally that have used them and appear to be getting good results from them or whatever. That's their personal experience. I'd like to hear that as well. But please, if you know of anyone that's had a bad experience, or you yourself have had a frightening experience with a Ouija board, please leave a comment, particularly on YouTube. But if you put them on Facebook, if you don't mind if I transfer them to YouTube, because that's where I really want this conversation going, because it's an important one. So that's my thoughts on Ouija board. And you could come in and say, well, isn't it just a form of divination or whatever? No, not really. I suppose I was talking to my husband. He said if it could be used for channeling or whatever, if everything was 100% and perfect and things were protected and people were far more evolved spiritually than we are now, it could even be used for communication between two people, say, that sort of thing. And I thought, yeah, you're right, maybe, but we're not at that stage yet. And until we are, I say please don't use them. So please let me know what you think of the video. Again, if this conversation is going on down below, keep it nice. This is a pleasant channel. This is a channel where we're working as a community to understand one another, to understand spirituality, and to understand other people's viewpoints as well. This is my viewpoint, your viewpoint might be very different, so why not join in the conversation? So be nice, and I cannot wait to hear your opinions on this. Many blessings now. Bye.